light of the throne guides me.
I'm a Dorber service number, EW54, got no name. Throw them names into the sea, they're just like numbers.
I likes names. Cog. More good than a number. Or short, too.
Come to mess with people's heads some more.
No hesitation.
The upper hiver sliced the barrel to pieces. I see
By rejecting me!
It's your shift on patrol.
I've been on patrol 3 turns already. I'm not going again. They could shoot me for all I care.
Greybeard patrolled for 10 turns straight and he was fine. Now chug some Gergesum and get to work.
You chug it. My teeth can't hear a thing, and my ears are falling out from that stuff.
This whole place will be flooded soon.
The sea relentlessly.
gave such a lurch yesterday.
Such is his will.
Nearly drowned.
Was it the sea? That was you. You had too much to drink and passed out face first in your suit. Forgot already.
That's a proper coat.
Might be mine once the Baron's done with you. Open your eyes, you idiot.
I can see again. Blimey.
The light
Have you
of
got
the
a right
throne
ugly
guides
mug,
me.
Sawbones?
Heard the one about the company that vanished in the Silencer Sectoris. They say a bog monster ate them. One moment they were there, the next, gone.
What kind of monster eats that much? A whole company? That's a
By
question.
his grace, we see. his will.
Put the data slate of human heaven.
Saw everything, Upper Hiver. I'll have to report it to the Baron. But you can trade my silence for some Gergesum. Just an injector. I want to sleep so badly, but I can't let myself.
Here we see the most classic example of an advanced stage of addiction as evidenced by its physiological symptoms. I am opposed to the disposal of human resources, but sometimes...
Seems like there's every single day. The lads are all on edge because of these nightmares. I can't even remember the last time I had a proper night's sleep.
Relentlessly.
No goings up. Won't let ya. Orders.
Whoever's in charge can go upstairs. The rest of you will stay here.
Only can goes up if you charge. No charge, no goes up. Go up. Can't see behind ya. Try. Baron said, listen to who has the thing, like on paper. Maul's not stupid. Tell me what to do.
Well, more upper hivers. You've been drawn to our God Emperor forsaken Mary Sportum lately. You know where you are, and you know who I am. So why would genteel folk like ourselves waste time on how-do-you-dos? Why are you here, Upper Ivor? To crow about saving my divers' salty hides? I've been told you handle the ferals well enough. I'll give you that. And as a reward, I'm granting you an audience with yours truly. And no need to thank me. And how do you manage to get this lot in here with you? Is Maul staring at the wall again? Bloody abhuman. Should the attention of an Upper Ivor flatter me? Or scare me? I don't know what to do with myself. I'll just say that my business is to dig up long-forgotten treasures that lie in the dirt beneath the feet of the Lords of the Spires, and that's how I serve the God Emperor. Any tools are good in the struggle against the enemies of humanity, as long as they do not come to us from the hands of those very enemies. Excavation? The one those other Upper Ivor pals of yours are messing around with? I don't know what's going on over there, and I don't want to. Anyone sniffing about within 100 meters gets shot for their trouble. Whatever they're up to, it can't be anything good. Think I'm stupid enough to stick my nose in and send my people there? You don't have enough hands as it is to keep things ticking over here. So leave off with your assuming. But thinking about it, if something did happen, then you're looking in the wrong place. Ursimus and his lunatics from the flock of bad news, Upper Ivor, have caused all the trouble they can in Marisportum, and they've decided to try their teachings on Upper Ivors instead. In Marisportum, anything that isn't nailed down goes missing as soon as you turn your back. That includes people like this Rufinus of yours. Never heard of him, by the way. Never seen him before, Upper Ivor. I'd remember that burnt face if I had. Do you really think I keep a record of every down and out who's missing a lip? Well, I don't, all right? For throne's sake, Upper Ivor, so maybe there was a dodgy-looking type hanging around here, always with his hood pulled down over his face. He never gave his name, and I never asked. He had strange questions about how the Gergesum was affecting humans and Xenos. He paid a decent price for the answers. That's all I know. And no, Upper Ivor, I've got nothing to do with nothing, but who's going to believe me, right? Certainly not you. Is that so? You know what else they say? That bad Obscura takes you on an unforgettable ride. I knew someone who swore up and down that he'd met Saint Sibelius on the street and shook his hand, even had the sacred marks burned all over his palm. But what I say is, when you're out of it and puking up your guts in an alley, don't go leaning on any thermal pipes. Go out to the front and look down. You'll see everything you need to know. Marisportum is caught between the upper levels that send rubbish and sewage pouring into this place, and the sea that will someday swallow the place whole. Even if that happens, the Upper Ivors will show up and tell us to grow gills, so that we can work at sewage plants underwater. The people are surviving, I'm helping them. Me and my Gergesum. Ursimus and his lunatics. We're drowning, and they're only adding to our problems. And the Upper Ivors wrote us off the moment the first seaquake put everything underwater. But I saw an opportunity, and the locals keep working for the good of him and Marisportum so that we don't all die. But to work, you have to have at least some strength. You're allocated 4 hours of sleep and corpse starch gruel. But these holy men are wandering around Marisportum and shouting that we need to mutilate our flesh, beat ourselves to bloody lumps and stop eating altogether. How is that any way to serve the God Emperor? No, that's not right. Mine are the quiet ones in the colours with the aluminum tattoos. They keep order and keep the rowdy ones in check. But there are enough freaks in Marisportum who've taken up arms and decided that they don't answer to me or even him. Gangs of them, calling themselves ferals. When my people see them, they take them out. I advise you to do the same. No one will miss them. Well, I created Gergesum, and that stuff doesn't just increase the strength and hardiness of my idiot underlings. It also stops them from sleeping. No sleep means no nightmares. No nightmares means everyone's just fine. Everyone in Marisportum is trying to get their hands on a few drops of my treasure, you know. It's funny. Who would have thought that at the bottom of the stinking puddle that washes over Marisportum, there would be shit more valuable than plasteel? Shit that only local divers can get their hands on. Shit that upper hivers will fight each other to get. Out of the mud and waste, I created Gurgesum, a treasure for the nobles of the spires. And that's the only reason they haven't burned this place to the ground. And because I'm pure before the God Emperor, and I keep everyone around me pure too.
I cannot help but notice that you have ignored the semantics of the question posed, replacing the actual description of the substance with indirect emotional comments.
How good of you to notice, Upper Iver. Would I be pure before him and myself if I denounced my friends, Upper Iver? And would people follow a rat? I don't think so. Calby and Erlor. Sloggers who work themselves to the bone for his glory. Nice lads, only they prefer to keep to themselves. The dregs of Marisportum don't tend to look kindly on anyone who's different. Oh? What do you want to talk about now? You're saying the rabble who crawl in the mud under the Upper Iver's feet should only ever refer to themselves with utter disrespect. Well, submit a complaint to the Administratum on Terra. I'm kind of the boss here in Marisportum, so the title of Baron suits me down to the ground. Why? You don't think I have a face for leadership, eh? It just happened that when Marisportum was flooded by the first seaquake, the pious bastards, the lawmen and the guardsmen all up and left, and sealed the gate behind them. Who do you think stopped the carnage over supplies? Who got the divers and the common labourers back to work? Who threw the looters out of town? The ones who just wanted to run amok and wait for the next seaquake to wash away the Hab Zone for good. Yours truly. Me and my carvers. I didn't have much of a choice. Someone had to do something. Oh? What do you want to talk about now?
Ever watchful.
be flooded soon. The sea is going...
Follow him in his wake.
To mess with people's heads some more. Get out of the Baron's territory.
Step right up and take your pick, Master. Inktooth offers the best the sea has to toss up. What am I supposed to do with sense, kind master? We've never used money around here. We trade everything. If you have Medicaid kits, that's crackin'. They're much needed here. I'll trade anything for them. Gugessum will do as well. The Baron's charging triple for it these days. This knife used to belong to a daring man. He wielded it to shield his family from the swamp mutants and lost his life. Later, his children brought me the knife. I traded them 3 rations for it. Great choice, Master. Give it a little scrape with a slipstone, and it'll sharpen right up, good as new. The hermits brought it over, and I didn't bother asking where they got it from. Maybe they found it somewhere, or looted a dead man. Why let good wares go to waste? What? How was I to know? I'd never take 'em from important folk. How about you take 'em off my hands before I get into trouble? Come back!
Relentlessly.
Acidic runoff has been detected. Warning.
The light of the throne guides me. Watchfulness is always rewarded.
am the harbinger of his light. The light of the throne guides me.
Ever watchful.
Identifying anomalies in visual representations. Any deviations from the norm will be made apparent.
his will. No hesitation. His light illuminates all. Ever watchful. Give a coward boundless munitions, and they will still perish. Give the faithful a rock. I am the harbinger of his light. His grace, we see. Something was hidden. relentlessly.
Initiating data upload to the sacred repository. Data decoded, structured, and appended to the case evidence. Initiating data upload to the sacred repository. Data decoded, structured, and appended to the case evidence. Identifying anomalies in visual representations. Any deviations from the norm will be made apparent. Analyzing data using higher order algorithms.
No hesitation. Relentlessly.
So
hesitation. By his will.
It's a Fusilier. What we want with a blockade, is what he said. Yeah, I liked his buttons. Pretty.
Relentlessly.
Commander, it's a Fusilier. What we want with a block. Said. Yeah. I liked his buttons. Pretty.
When we have finished our affairs in this cesspit, I will, if necessary, hand that creature over to the appropriate authorities. Every moment of inaction is a favor to the enemy.
I am...
Seen you before. Yeah, food's alright. Baron said call her sister. And they says more stupid. Who's charged? They're Baron. was walking from barracks, and then they started shooting at me. It tickled. Had to hit 'em hard. I got to the big water. There were little peoples. They strayed and threw rocks. I tried to hit them, but they all ran off. So I went back. That's where these found me. I wanted to hit them hard, but they had women in white armor. Maul's not stupid. I said I'm looking for one. And now, I'm here.
The cognition unit expresses curiosity.
In his wake. The light of the throne guides me. Ready. Following in his wake. Give a coward boundless munitions, and they will... Give the faithful a rock, and they will prevail. By his will, back in his service. With fervor, shield your minds without hesitation. Drives me.
required.
God Emperor's will. Without hesitation. By his will. I have suffered for him before. Brings damnation. Be my armor. Another wound in his service. Fervor. Yield your minds! Brings damnation!
Should have found more units required.
My devotion. Faith drives me. The veil is torn asunder. It shall be done with fervor. Shield your minds. My faith has never burned brighter.
General.
Fabricator General Cartesiarchus Hecatus Prime on the line. Servo Congregator Cycle reorganization completed successfully. Detecting physiological integrity of security units. You have exercised commendable caution in handling property of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Authorizing reward. Your biometric parameters have been recorded in the registry of reliable laypeople. It is pleasing to meet a servant of the Holy Order. The layperson's actions have triggered the Servo Congregator security protocols. The security units are not designed to recognize laypeople's facial features, including those of low-ranking servants of the Inquisition. Requesting a verbal exchange of identification data. Connection with this Servo Congregator has been established by the Fabricator General Cartesiarchus Hecatus Prime. Due to the actions of the layperson, semantic links have been reactivated. Initiating transition to exchange of material information. Calculating recompense. Prior to the loss of communication with the Ark, this Servo Sentinel was lost during a reconnaissance mission in the Hab Zone. Proposal: return this unit to the fold of the Machine God and receive gratitude. In accordance with the agreement with the Holy Order, collecting and logging data in the described segment of the Hab Zone is not included in the Servo Sentinel's assigned scanning parameters. Hypotheses formulated. The unit in question had veered off course, whereupon it was exposed to the subjugation protocol. This conflict has been deemed insignificant and will be archived. Authorizing issuance of gratitude. Layperson, the value of your physical integrity is now equivalent to that of a standardized MX/18 Sigma circuit board. Rejoice. Registering numerous defects in the servo-cranial module. The damage matches that caused by the impact force of a primitive blunt tool typically employed in the barbaric tactics of local bandit groups. Hypotheses formulated. Unknown individuals have violated the integrity of the Servo Sentinel and used it for their own worldly ends during excavation. May the Omnissiah punish the unworthy. The data archives contain pertaining information. Hypotheses formulated. Several Servo Sentinels did not return into the fold of the Congregator before the sacred machine entered hibernation. In the absence of Servo Sentinel data, the probability of retrieving the required information is close to zero. However, considering the possibility of the Servo Sentinel's return, it is not equal to zero after all. Submitting counter-offer. Access to data will be restored on the condition of shared utilization of acquired information. Expressing desire for similar continued cooperation in the future. The data extracted from the Electu is deemed to be of research interest and will be transferred to the jurisdiction of the Genitor Order. The agreement between the Holy Ordo and the priesthood of Mars permits the exchange of secret information within acceptable parameters. This mechanism is designated as a servo congregator, serving to collect and subsequently process information. Research units conduct reconnaissance and assessment of useful assets within this hab zone. Decisions regarding dismantling and transportation are then enacted. Resource collection may be hindered by aquatic activity that defies logical calculation. Probability of imminent water level rise significant. Timely restoration of servo congregator functionality by the layperson will enable the Adeptus Mechanicus to mitigate collateral damage. Environment conforms to standard Hive hab zone. Distinguishing features: marshy terrain, extensive reserves of defunct equipment, presence of a tribe of carnivorous Xenos. The existence of the Marisportum settlement and its inhabitants is negligible. Communication is being prolonged, insistently proposing its termination.
Ready.
Initiating data upload to the sacred repository. Data decoded, structured, and appended.
The light of the throne guides me.
Detecting repeated presence of an Inquisition.
wounded. Hold off the Maddened. I will take... Lock up Grektar! The Vane cannot lose the last crew tops! Rotten failures! Skin! Lure Grektar into the pen! Anger him and run, but do him no serious...
without hesitation. The veil was torn asunder. By his will. Shield your minds! Faith drives me. Not rely on armor alone. Fear. War brings damnation. It shall be done. I will repay this debt by his will. Test of my devotion.
out of harm's way!
Faith drives me. Shield your minds! In his service. The war brings damnation! Without hesitation. My faith will suffice. God Emperor, spare me this pain. That enemy with fervor. Shield your minds without hesitation. War brings damnation. It shall be done.
Come on, Graktar! Get out of harm's way! Graktar! Get out of harm's way!
have crossed the boundaries of the roost. Lower your weapon, or I will strip your soft skin, and my blood will devour your flesh. You heard my words. You saved Grektar. I will forget that you trespassed in the roost. The kin band will not tear you apart. For now. You reek of the inedible. An exile of the faith. To walk into the roost bearing such a stench without fear. You must be a strong warrior. Or a fool. When the vein grows strong, Oatvaka will have no time for foolish names. They will tremble at the mere mention of the bog beasts.
Fascinating. An aggressive Xenos species operating in the lower hive sectors. How did they go unnoticed for so long?
Fury, strength, conviction. This is why the kin band must absorb the strands of soft skins, like you. Strong flesh will sustain the vein. Thus, we ourselves will grow stronger.
Take my brother's words as you would a storm, Softskin. He walks the path of blood and battle, and you have come at a difficult time. I am Uyatik, flesh shaper of the tick vein. Croactic is the war shaper. He is the strongest among us, but he does not trust outsiders. Even so, the tick vein is grateful for your aid against those maddened of my blood. They lost their connection to the roots. They could no longer hear the commands of the Shapers. And now, their flesh will rot. Their strands will decay. Today, madness seized the roost. I sense it. In the air, and in the blood that was spilled. It is a warning. One the tick vein will heed. Soft skin flesh defiles our roots. Hear my word, you of my blood. From this moment forth, the vein is forbidden from consuming human flesh. It is time to leave this roost, choked with the stench of a rotting sea. It is time to move once more through the tunnels to new lands in search of better prey and new strands.
Brother, has a godlike claimed your mind? It was you who said that we, the Vein, must feed on strong Oatvaka. And you were right. The weak warriors have grown strong. The strong have grown ferocious. But the kin band's ferocity is not a curse of the roots. It is a sign that our warriors' bodies strive to harness the strands of the soft skins. The strong will survive. The weak will nourish the kinband. So it has always been. This is the way the leaves fall. Remove your prohibition before it is too late. That is what we call soft skins like you. A single strike and done. But you are different. Though your body is fragile, I sent the spirit of a hunter in you. That is why you survived the slaughter. That is why the vein still listens to you.
Softskins, frail-bodied, like your pack. Humans, yes.
As I said, the Vein will forget that you trespassed in the roost. You helped. You survived. Now, stay out of the way. My brother and I have matters to discuss. I say, the Vein must remain here and continue to absorb strong flesh. Better to fall in battle against the Oathfucker than to let those of my blood slowly rot from hunger in the tunnels again. Even before the battle, we both saw it. The ancient root is breaking through in one of our warriors. That means the time has come. We will conduct the awakening ritual. Help him remember. And then he will judge our dispute. Until then, the Vein will not move. One more mistake, and we will be nothing more than decaying leaves beneath the feet of outsiders.
The Vein is about to witness the awakening of the Great Root, which will mend the woes of these times. I must prepare for the ritual. You may remain in the roost until then. The rabid ones are gone. No one will strip the flesh from you or your pack. That is my decree. But remember this. When the Awakened One emerges, you will leave the roost forever. Thus speaks Flesh Shaper Uweatik.
Brought good meat. The outside eat and sleep, wrestler. Soon they will allow their bodies to
Unlikely. Soft skins do not understand the rights of the roots. But if they did allow it, who would you choose?
Relentlessly. Led by his will.
Have anything to report? I have no time for idle exchanges. What do you... I'm listening.
I am the harbinger of his light.
have anything to What do you... Even... I'm listening. If it helps you to complete... That is a shame. Do you already know who killed him? Then why are you...
Follow him in his wake.
Scanning of the tracks has been discontinued. Continuing the search beyond the camp's perimeter.
Watchful.
The third rule for keeping the pipe clean: don't leave pieces of your body in the
His
pipe.
Grace.
The fourth
We
rule
see.
for...
Following in his wake. Failure is not permitted. I am the harbinger of his light. We are all...
Awful lot of clean shirts hanging around. What?
Why don't they stay?
Are you looking for something? Here, Master? I'll make good for it. Please, don't kill me, Master. I've got 2 children. I didn't look under your... I'll spill it, everything. Please don't cut my hands off. I need them to keep working. Plenty of folk passed through here. 3 times in the last days, whole groups came through. Just recently, a crowd went by in that direction, toward the upper town. They often hold executions there, and about 15 people ran that way, toward the houses. Oh, that was a while ago, and some headed for the water, quite a few. None but us divers go there willingly. Only hermits and those the flock's driven half mad. The hermits linger there until the end. The others throw themselves off the shore into the sea.
crowd of poor souls went to meet the sea not long ago, stepping off the shore. I didn't witness it. I was below, hauling up this cursed stuff. Well then, thanks for sparing me. I'll be off. Time to dive again soon, to make up for what's been spilled.
Relentlessly. Something was hidden.
Trail lost. Additional visual scanning of the facility is advised.
Eyeballs are...
No hesitation.
Oh, no. What you're doing?
Relentlessly.
Let me go!
Following his wake.
I didn't think I'd make it out of there alive.
I thought you already found out everything you wanted to know. Oh. What crates? Ah. Oh, we found them in the sea. People throw a lot of nice stuff into the water and we put it to good use. We keep our suits and hoses in these lockers. Everything we need for diving, basically. So long.
Led by his will.
Eternally reigning on the golden throne with unholy terror.
The condition of the bodies indicates prolonged immersion in water. There are traces of local fauna, evident in the multiple bite wounds and loss of soft tissue. Fingers are absent, the abdominal organs are absent. Note that the bodies have decomposed far less than would be expected under these conditions. Make a note to take samples of the local water. It displays pronounced embalming and preservative properties. Note the water's unusual impact upon the epidermis. Maceration. that is, wrinkling and peeling of the skin, typically affect only a drowning victim's hands and feet. In this case, though, the entire body is edematous and almost liquefied by toxins in the seawater. This regrettably greatly hinders identification. It suggests someone knew of these properties and deliberately deposited the bodies here.
Oh, wonderful.
God Emperor bless you, Honorable Master. How can rotten fish help you? The fish saw it, good master. The sea gnaws at our neighbors' bodies. The carvers brought them, poked them in the back with weapons, forced them to jump into the water. Their clothes were foreign and fine, but they were still our kind. Why would the Baron do this to his own people? May the God Emperor show you the way and Sibelius guide you through it.
No hesitation.
On the ground, unworthy one! Accept your punishment.
Identifying key features for comparison. These parameters will...
The internal fluids left the body post-mortem, most likely due to the rockfall. All across the primary wound area, the vessels and fluid tubes were cauterized at once. I have never seen such neat and clean wounds.
And again, for throne's sake, the sea toxins have finally eaten the old girl's brain. Right. What do you expect from a blind hag like her? She couldn't tell the difference between a fish and a boot, even under a spotlight. She's got things all mixed up. Loose tongues lead to the grave. I have no clue what you'll do with what I tell you. Maybe if you gave me a solid reason instead of empty words. Or maybe if you'd come here to help instead of making demands. Oh, not me. I'm not that selfish. Maris Sportum needs help, Upper Iva. I can take care of myself just fine, but this forgotten town will fall apart unless someone steps in. What's incredible is that the locals are still holding on. We're having tech problems, in every sense. We've seen servo skulls snooping around more than once. We've seen red robes. The tech priests are gutting Maris Sportum. They're not even waiting for us to die on our own. They did something to the machine spirits of the generators that power the ventilation systems, and now they're not working. The emergency generator is what's keeping us alive, but it won't last long either. And if we don't have air, Upper Ivor, you can guess what kind of slow and nasty death is in store for all of us here. I'm not harboring any illusions about your abilities. There's no fixing the disassembled generators. But if you can get the emergency generator next to the drainage main to work at least half power, then we'll talk. Or even better, get the tech priests and their skull spies to back off. Well, you don't have much chance of that, even if you are an Upper Ivor. And maybe you can at least get a generator part out of them. They store stolen goods somewhere in the swamps.
Let
mess with people's heads some more. Get out of the back.
Commander, it's a Fusilier. We want
no
with a block.
hesitation.
Commander, it's a Fusilier. Commander, it's a Fusilier. We want with a blockade, is what he said. It's a Fusilier. What we want with a blockade.
Why not even agree to God?
Likes his buttons.
Relentlessly.
Injured?
So, if I take on 3...
positions, sir. This ham zone has lost its strategic value and has been stripped of its administrative designation. The property of the priesthood of Mars must be returned to the servants of the Omnissiah. Request denied. Knowledge must flow to the worthy in order to serve the glory of the machine god. The local laity does not possess sufficient purity of understanding to interact with even the most basic 10 blessings. The layperson's current behavior pattern goes against the protocol of hierarchical subservience. Breach of subordination compromises cooperation. Priesthood of Mars. Form XXI-KN. Distribution of basic amenities has been reviewed. Analysis shows that the basic repair unit in question comprises 0.0003% of the total supply of tech blessings. Estimated results of the potential exchange. Increased allegiance of the layperson. Cooperation approved. The proper functioning of the emergency generator requires 1. Integration of the parts anointed with sacred unguents. 2. Performance of a complete cycle of estrangement litanies. The execution of their ritual protocol will raise the sacred machine's operational output to the target range of 75 to 80%. May the Omnissiah show his grace.
No hesitation.
Pardon? It's a Fusilier.
Led by his will.
I liked his buttons. Pretty.
Been a big help to us, Upper a big help. The generator's only just limping along after your patch job, and I'll buy us some time at least. We'll think of something, don't you worry about that. Even so, any kind of help is better than no help at all. You can have a rummage around in the warehouse if you like. Consider it your reward. As for our previous chat about the excavation, let's just say I wasn't totally forthcoming, and the situation is not what it looks like. No one knows. You hear their drill wherever you go in Marisportum, but one day there was just nothing. I sent people out to find out what happened. They just disappeared. Dumped all their valuable gear, tools, weapons. Just when we started looking around, the freaks from the swamps arrived. It was like they'd been sent there on purpose. We didn't have a chance to even say a word to them before they were on us. I've got to say, my lot gave those bastards a good hiding. Of course I have it. I couldn't leave it just sitting there for anyone to grab. What if the things from the swamp had got to it first? Or worse, the flock, or those scumbags from the ferals? No, better lock it up safe and sound. You want it? Take it. I've got no use for Fasaline. Us? Looting? Never by the throne. I was saving our irons. Can't you see, Upper Ivor? First, someone from the Spires has a small army of assistants vanish without a trace in Marisportum, and then they find footprints from those damned bog beasts everywhere. The owners of the excavation site wouldn't care who's at fault. They'd just burn us all. That's why I took precautions. I made it look like Ursimus's followers did it. Hid the traces of the beak-faced bastards, had my people paying flock symbols all over the dig site. And I also drowned a few traitors in the sea, disguising them as workers. 2 Groxes with 1 shot. I reckon that no matter who came to investigate, they'd probably check out the site before just burning all of us indiscriminately. And that they'd spot at least one of the false trails I'd left. You'd have guessed they'd send somebody with actual brains. I knew we'd get the blame for it, so I took steps to protect us. I caused some chaos. But the truth is that me and mine didn't touch any workers from the excavation. I value my life. If you ask me, it's all the flock's doing. Wouldn't surprise me if they really had confused the minds of those poor sods, and then... No. The only people I disappear are my own. If they overstep, if they steal Gurgesum, if they get too cozy with the flock. I've got names and witnesses for all the people I've disappeared. And some of these disappearances happen very publicly as a warning to the rest. See those ones up there hanging from the ceiling? But the disappearances among the ordinary folk, I've had no hand in those. They're Xenos. The kind you can put up with if they stay out of the way and out of sight. They came through the tunnels from another hab zone after the first seaquake. They thought they could do as they liked. Started eating whoever they came across. But they liked the divers the best. My carvers had to put them in their place. They drove the scum further out into the marshes. My people don't go near them these days, on my orders. There's nothing out there anyway, except for those Xenos and the ferals. The Freaks didn't have much choice. My people nearly wiped them out. But while we were busy with them, the ferals went crazy and started walking round Maris Sportum like they owned the place. We had to choose between killing the swamp creatures or losing the town. I picked the third option. Their leader came crawling to me to offer a pact, a truce, and I agreed. I gave them permission to live in the swamps and eat the ferals. I've got to say they've done well. There's hardly any ferals left. And in return, they promised to stay out of my town. They broke their word. The bastards violated the truce when they attacked my people at the excavation site. Do you believe in coincidences, Upper Hiver? I don't. A lot of good fighters have gone missing lately. I'm sure those creatures are hunting them down on purpose. No matter. I'll make them pay for it. Tough luck, Upper Hiver. I don't do well under pressure, you know. My mind just goes blank. You don't believe me? Well, then maybe you'll believe one of the flock. Runaways go in both directions. There is one lad. Couldn't stomach the beatings and the bans the flock love so much. He came to me, and in exchange for my help, he told me a whole lot of interesting things. Like exactly how to frame Ursimus, and how to get around the security traps at the excavation site. Funny kid, eh? Knows things that only someone who set up the excavation could have known. He hides out in one of the huts on the cliffs. Comes out every few days, meets my people near the Hawker's place. Takes supplies and Gurgesum. If you hurry, you might catch him there today.
Follow him.
To mess with people's heads some.
found me. I have nowhere else to run. Do what you must. I don't have a name anymore. What do you want? You didn't chase me across all of Marisportum just to chat, did you? I don't think I have a choice. I have no face, Master, and I like it that way. No one looks for me. No one recognizes me. No one gives a second thought to another wretched freak.
The pattern of scar tissue layered across the skin indicates prolonged exposure to an acidic environment. Tell me, my good man, how many times did you douse your own face with acid to produce such an effect?
Why, 4 times. To be certain, no one would ever recognize me. The missing workers and the flock. So you really weren't going to kill me? Though nothing's stopping you from killing me after the interrogation. That's how the Inquisition works. Confessor Ursimus, he is a preacher, a monster. Words fall short of him. He will listen to your sorrows, grant you hope, and then drive a blade into your back and twist it a few times. It's dangerous to listen to him. He's impossible to ignore. He thinks himself the equal of a saint, but he would never admit it. But you don't want to hear those truths, do you? You would dismiss them as a madman's tale. The truth is this. Confessor Ursimus was not the same after his return from the Silencer Sectoris. Do you know this place? It's not far from here. There was a massacre, and they burnt it down because of it. Ursimus's scars? He brought them back from there. They are the people who lost everything in the First Flood, and who now dread the water's return. For now, they are few, but grief and the sermons of Confessor Ursimus draw in more and more. When someone is lashed with a red-hot rod, it is better to stand on the side that holds the handle. The flock is devoted to Confessor Ursimus. The followers do as he commands. Most often, it is self-mortification or the torment of another. That is how they repent. The flock believes every woe of Marisportum is his punishment. They do not promise salvation, but they preach submission. Or so I once thought. Now I see fanatics, intoxicated by their own righteousness. Those who serve faithfully are granted ascension by Confessor Ursimus. Those who fear pain, or not inflicted on others, he sends to his sanctuary for re-education. I've heard stories. I don't know. Like the others, I thought it was merely a name for the tunnels where the flock dwells. Yet those led away for ascension or re-education were never seen again. The sanctuary lies deeper, not within the tunnels. Confessor Ursimus must have sensed my faith was weak. He promised me ascension, deliverance for the chosen, but he had something else in mind. I overheard him speaking with another follower, instructing him to ready the sanctuary for a ritual of penance. He was going to torment me before his flock, until I died from the pain. Till I was cleansed. That's what he said. That bastard! Confessor Ursimus performs miracles for his flock. One was healed of a wasting sickness, another of his nightmares. I began to attend the sermons. I wanted to see with my own eyes that the God Emperor had not abandoned us. And I beheld, in the cave, high above Marisportum, a multitude of mutilated bodies. I'd never seen such a thing. This is his judgment. The Punisher sent by him will comfort those who have not washed away their transgressions in their own blood. I followed the Confessor so I would not share their fate. I and many others
Confessor Ursimus discovered this place on his return from the Silenza Sectoris. The Cradle of the Punishers was the name he gave the cavern. He and his followers sought signs that the Punishers would come. That Maris Portum was to be next. I fled the flock before the noise of that machine on the outskirts stopped rumbling through the whole Hab zone, so I can't be sure. But if the Confessor could have hidden an entire camp of workers anywhere, it would have only been in his Sanctuary of Ascensions. Wait. On the day I fled the flock, I slipped into the Confessor's chamber and took this. His relic. It was very important to him. Ursimus kept saying that this was the key to the tomb of Sibelius the Infallible. Take it, but spare my life in return. My life is worth less than this shriveled finger. I have never set foot in Ursimus's sanctuary or in the tomb of Saint Sibelius. Yet it seems to me that they may well be the same place. None in Maris Portum, but the Confessor could hold such a secret and bend it to his purpose. Of course, the locals mutter that there is another way into the tomb, one that has never been found, and I'm inclined to believe them. You look calm, but I'm not surprised. People like you are unmoved by carnage. Who else could have done such a thing? You saw it. No ordinary man could have... This is not something an ordinary man could have done. Followers of the flock, those who believed in the Punishers. After Confessor Ursimus's sermons, they began seeking proof that the Punishers had come to Maris Portum. Confessor Ursimus warned that there would be signs. A killer in the cradle of the Punishers. That is no mere coincidence. People feel what is coming. It changes them. It changes us. I have no name and no face. I am no one. I have nothing to hide. Why did you run after me? If someone chases you in a place like this, you don't just stand there. I was raised in the mid-levels. I think I amused him. My face, the way I fled. I had nothing to offer in return, yet he agreed to help. Will you spare my life? I knew it would end this way. From the very first moment. I knew. I am ready.
Relentlessly.
our pain and our torment we shall glorify him, brother. The finger of someone long dead. I hope you did not plunder a grave to acquire it. That would be a most wicked violation. You speak rightly.
With a keen heart. Without hesitation.
With our pain and our